Hi, today we're going to be talking about the Peavey RQ200 6-channel mini console. There's not a lot of these out here, and I looked around because I was having some what I thought was problems with it, and it turned out it was just dirty pots and things. But I didn't see really any comments on it or really any reviews or anything. I just wanted to show this console because it's something that you don't see very often. It's worked pretty good for me. It's got 4 stereo channels. It's 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all stereo. In channels 1 and 2 are mono. It works good for my studio because I've got my recording console and my PC and my keys hooked up to this thing. The problem I've had with it is this stereo channel number 6 has a bad input. It's got some RCA inputs in the back, and I think there may be a cold connection or a loose solder connection on the board. I did open this up and sprayed all the pots out and the contacts and air blasted everything out of here. So it cleaned up pretty good, and all the other channels are doing good. I still have a little crackle on this channel 6, so I'm not sure what the problem is with 6, so I'm just not going to use it. But that being said, this little mixer is actually pretty good, so it works well in my studio, like I said. The 2 mono inputs work well because I've got a trio hooked into it, so I can play that through the stereo system, and then I've got one more extra input if I need that. Each channel is pretty much the same. The 2 mono channels do have a pan. It's got the nice long faders here. We've got a mic gain. We've got effects, monitor, low and highs. And so that's for the mono channels. And then working over starting on 3, again, you've got the nice long sliders, effects, monitor, low and high, pans. And then on these channels that are stereo, you either have a mic gain with the XLR input or a line gain that'll be applicable to the line coming in the back. So that's for the next 4 channels, the stereo channels. And then over here on the master section, I call it, you've again got the nice long faders, and phantom power is available for the XLRs. You've got your monitor master levels, your effects master, and your headphone levels here as well. It does have phantom power, so like I said. Pretty basic setup, and I like the layout. I do like having sliders. I do have another Mackie mixer that's a similar setup, and I actually like the Mackies much better, but it has pots down here instead of sliders, so it's not quite as quick to use if you have something turned up too loud or something. It takes a little longer to find which one is up too loud, whereas on this you can still see the sliders. It's very nice. Let's turn around, take a look at the back if we can, and I'll show you what's going on back there. Alright, I had to unplug a few things to get this turned around to look at it, but we've got the on-off switch back here. You've got a 16 volt 1 amp power source, so it's a wall wart there. The main outs are basically, you can use a 1/8 inch jack, you can use RCA jacks, or you can use 1/4 inch. I'm using 1/4 inch that are going into a power amp. We'll start at the end down here, which you can't see too well, but you've got a line in and an insert for the 2 mono channels. I've marked those because you can't tell which is which from the front, but each of the 2 mono inputs do have an insert available to them, which is nice if you're doing some effects. The channels, stereo channels, are all the same, so we'll just look at 5 here. Well, they're not all the same because I guess 6 is different. But on channel 5, which would be representative of 3, 4, and 5, you have a right and left, or left mono inputs. These are 1/4 inch inputs here. You do have underneath the 4th channel inputs, the monitor sends and effect sends down here. On channel 6, you've got an 1/8 inch input you can use, serial input, or RCA plugs you can put on these. But I was having problems with these when I was plugging them in, so I think I decided just not even to try to use this channel anymore. I'm just using adapters on my RCA inputs, and that works just fine, and that gives me a little more flexibility. So that's about it. I just wanted to share that with people if they hadn't seen one of these. It's an RQ200. It's a Peavey. I think they came out, gosh, maybe the early 2000s, something like that, and I have not seen very many of them. I got this unit used at Guitar Center. I think it was only like, if it was even $50, I'm not even sure what it was, but it wasn't very expensive. I replaced some Behringer mixers, surprise, surprise, and I've been much more happy with this unit than the Behringers. For one thing, it mostly works. I've got 5 working channels. With the Behringer, I got down to no working channels, and I actually went through 2 of those that I picked up over time. Whoops. So RQ200 Peavey mixer. It's a nice for a studio mixer to have to put all your outputs into it, so you can have through the house system, you can hear what's going on. So If you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you really like it, please subscribe. So thank you very much.